Every enough each of those some of those skills. I think there was like one check I missed because I didn't want wasn't high enough in the skill. Can't remember which one it was. I think it was diplomacy, which is surprising. I'm a 10, I'm 11 freaking diplomacy. Old battleground. Search the location. All right, then there's. I think I wanted to check the burial site. I think there was like. Let's check the rice farm real quick. Oh, it's just a. Okay. Oh. Oh. Bad. Well, that's all we got in that part. So, carrying on. No idea what I'm really doing, guys. Oh god, I need to go southwest. Why did I just click? Well, while on the deck of the ship, you can select to access the world map. Oh. Oh.
Agrasima Casita for taking me on.
I hope you're doing what you need to be doing, buddy.
Ahoy, Captain. Truth be told, Ferrante half expects us to get our asses blown out of the water at Fort Deadlight. Fortunately for you, I have this bad habit of beating the odds. Of course, I do that by way of good old traditional chicanery. And the most important part of any Hornswoggle? Solid planning. Well, that and surviving.
What can you tell me about Fort Deadlight?
Valiant made originally. Piled them stones up a few centuries back, but gave it up when the fishmen wouldn't leave them be. Hard to defend against Wilder crawling up out of your crappers. Captain Aldiz claimed it a few years back. Fucking filthy from bow to stern, and she had her lads and lasses cleaning fish shit out of the floorboards for months. A couple of them thought it might be better sailing elsewhere and left in the night. Aldiz tracked them down quick as you like, took their heads, and fixed them into little lanterns for the front gate. Called them Fort Deadlight's Deadlights.
Okay.
They say she ain't had a deserter since. Tad cruel for my taste. But I admit to admiring the wordplay.
Do you know anything about the fort's defenses?
Funny thing about it being a fort means it ain't a boat. Means it don't have to worry about the weight of cannons are storing honking big balls. Guns they got crowning that castle put a hole in your poop deck before you've sighted land. Fort itself be floor to ceiling rum-sodden fools, so that be going for us. But Aldi's keeps the crew on the walls sharp and sober. One blast of their horns and Deadlight's locked up tight as an endearing mugger night. We'll stay that way too, till any unfamiliar ships have been shot to shit and shot again.
What do you know about Eldis?
Yeah, she's sharp as shit, that one. Tongue, mind, and ears alike. Sailed out of Deerwood or Adir one. Knows her knots and how to crew a ship that won't turn sour. But words ring out among the Principe, more than you'd think for new blood. Part of that's her fierce support of freedom, from slavers, from the empires, from the Juana's caste system even. The rest are lenient and step out of line and Ferrante's got your old crew up for lashes. Aldis, though, she's, let's say there's a reason she attracts limp-cocked nut twists like Benwith. Can't say I much approve of a lack of regard for our traditions, but, can't say I don't share her vexations with Ferrante and the old garden either.
Shouldn't the Principe do something about Ildis?
Ah, the Principe's no fleet. More a mishmash of fiercely independent captains. A lot of them take to one another like sharks to krakens. But we be bound by the slippery slip knots of tradition. Even those bucking tradition cooperate for protection against our enemies. Many of the old guard have died off, though. And the new blood flooding in be, less the civil sort.
You mentioned you have contacts at the fort. Can you rely on their help?
Oh, I did say contacts, didn't I?
Yeah.
Contact would be more accurate, in the singular. A lass by the name of Siri. Been running the same circles for years, doldrums and fair winds. We're never family, but never on the wrong ends of arms, neither. Might have shaken the sheets a few months back. Regardless of how she feels about me, there's no love lost betwixt her and Benwith, that's for damn certain.
Your contact is some random lover of yours?
Ugh, random? What do you take me for, Captain?
The scourge of hearts throughout the Deadfire.
Well, I can't say as you're entirely wrong.
Let's go over the plan to get into the Fort Deadlight.
Deadlight's a tough coconut to crack. But if not cracking, what are nuts for?
I think this calls for a clever approach.
Smart play for crashing any party involves scavenging yourself up an invite, and then dressing to impress.
Fort Deadlight sends out invites?
No, Captain, they do not. Looking the part in this case means hoisting colours identifying us as Principe. Don't have to tell you how dangerous such a bit of fabric can be if the wrong person catches you flying it.
Then let's discuss another plan.
Deadlight's a tough coconut to crack, but if not cracking,
We
what are
could
nuts
sneak
for?
our way in.
Might be there's a way to sneak inside. Bet we can find a shady spot to tie up a skiff under the veil of night. Then up the walls and over, quick as you please. Sussing out a place to land without being spotted ourselves will require Helia's own eyes. Or a spyglass. You've got a spyglass, I hope.
Don't you have a spyglass?
Sure, used to. Then I made the mistake of lending it to Ferrante. Apparently forgot it weren't his.
Ah.
Showed him the S I carved into it and he turned around and told me it stood for spyglass. There's an important lesson to be learned there. You take something to see, you hold grip on it real tight.
Well, I don't have a
Well,
spyglass.
then let me recommend you remedy yourself there, Captain. A good spyglass be like a good lover. Shows you the bits you'd have missed otherwise.
Well, we have a plan. Let's get on with it.
Aye, Captain. Looking forward to watching you work.
I'm gonna need to start upping my stealth. Okay. And there's another person I need to talk with. Maybe two. Maybe three. Villa!
Ship life sure is an adventure, ain't it? Just think of all the places we can sail to, all the sights we could see. This is nothing like being stuck on a farm, or cloistered in the back of a temple. Tell me what's on your mind?
How's he came to be a worshipper of God more so than Aethys?
My folks, you might say they're not your typical Aethasians. Sure, they cling to the light more than the darkness. But the war, it touched my family. And it changed them. Killed some. Not that I remember firsthand.
Ew.
The others toughened, turned survivors. That much I saw with my own eyes, even years later.
Are there others like you? Other Gunites out there?
Of course. though we're few and spread out. Most don't keep to temples. Soul shepherding requires travel. My aunt's the one who taught me about the cycle of life and death, how everything happens in stages. Whether forwards or backwards, from seed to rot to rebirth again, it's all just states of existence and balance. See? That's how I first learned about the slice of Gone within Aethys. After that, I read all the doctrines of Gone, anything and everything I could get my hands on.
Such as?
The 12 books of Nearwith, plus the epistles from the minor prophets. A lot of them aren't a part of today's canonization, but that doesn't mean they're wrong. It's tradition for the youngest born to take up the priesthood of Aethys. Well, I did it in my own way.
Oh.
No need to fiddle-foot around. I'm listening.
How are you feeling? Have you suffered any recent nightmares?
They're there in my head when I sleep. And sometimes I can taste them on the back of my tongue like a smear of grit. Happens when I take in a particularly volatile soul.
Don't worry, we'll figure something out.
Will we? Ought we? I just don't know. I trust you, Watcher. I swear I do. I worry sometimes about what's gonna happen to me. But, well, it's not like I can turn my back on my duty to my god, even if it kills me. Sure thing, Watcher.
Talk with Eder real quick, and then
look
we'll.
who it is.
Okay, well, guess not Eder.
Thank you again for maintaining my story in front of Vanessa and the others.
Gives you a grateful smile that fades almost as quickly as it appears.
I didn't enjoy deceiving them, but it seemed simpler than the alternative.
Huh. And lonelier. You seem to care for them, but they didn't really know you.
I'm working against one of the most secretive organizations in all of Aora. One with a rather troubled history as far as animancy is concerned. That's not the sort of thing one shares with new friends. Believe me, I take no pleasure in duplicity.
What exactly are you doing out here?
After we parted, I set out to destroy the Leaden Key. It's controlled us for too long. I wanted to free Kith from it. So for 5 years, I've been tracking down Leaden Key circles, searching for the places where they operate in secret. Trying to undo them.
Well, you're doing the right thing. Don't forget it. It gives you a wan
The
smile.
task has been more difficult than I anticipated.
Oh, how so?
I don't think I fully understood the weight of the decisions I would have to make. Or the burden of living with them. It was much easier when I only had to follow someone else's lead. My father's, Theos's, yours.
You had a sense of purpose when you began this. Don't lose it.
I haven't.
Shodi's eyes gleam with dark amusement.
After we defeated Theos, I thought the hard part of undoing his work would be tracking down the Leaden Key's members and operations.
Maybe he had an address book. Had you burned his robes. He gives you an appreciative smile, but his mind is clearly elsewhere. Eder nods in agreement. Shodi nibbles on her lips to hide a spreading smile.
Perhaps this would be easier with an example. I went to a village in Old Valia. A run-down backwater of a place. Aye, right home like it was.
Oh, Ismella. Is Mela? Oh, anyways, Alos's expression shifts to is Iselmir briefly emerges.
Centuries ago, the Leaden Key had intervened to end some heretical cult. The details were lost, but what had endured was a practice of ritual bloodletting. A gruesome, pointless tradition. At every full moon, the villagers would feed the soil with their blood. No one, young or old, sick or hale, was exempt.
You helped them, right?
That's where it gets complicated. The village priest administered the practice. Grim old fellow. Reminded me of Theos.
Ooh.
Wicked El Bunbag, 'tis what the lad means.
He was a tyrant. I was certain that if the villagers were free of his influence, they'd be free from the bloodletting too. So I arranged for him to have an accident.
That seems like one of Theos's dirty tricks. I'd expect you to act with honor.
I did it for the right reasons. Not that this changed much. The old man died, and the villagers were terrified. They were convinced his death was an ill omen. They blamed it, and every other mishap that befell them, on their lack of faith. So they began bloodletting every week, turning on their neighbors for giving too little. Instead of a handful dying each year, a few perished every week.
That's not. I mean, if you barely understood this ritual, how did you expect to stop it?
I had to do something, didn't I? I keep wondering what I might have done differently, or how I could have known better.
Huh. Well, I mean, I like the second one. Learning from mistakes like this is a good start.
I suppose so. I should get some rest. It's been a long day, and you've given me a lot to think about.
Wait, still haven't told me what the Animancers have to do with any of this.
Ah, that. I'm looking for an old Leaden Key sect. I've found several references, but I want to be sure. Please, let me go over my notes again. Then I promise I'll tell you everything.
Well, I guess we'll talk later then.
I must say, our adventures together have been a welcome change of pace.
Oh, careful, or you're gonna make me blush.
You know what I mean. When we first met in the Deerwood, you were struggling for your sanity. Now you're fighting for your soul. I can't imagine the weight of that burden. And yet you've borne it, and more remarkably.
Things have gotten dire, but I won't let that get me down.
That's precisely what I mean. The gods have sent you after Aethys, and every power of note in Deadfire has their own plans for you. That puts you in a position of incredible influence. I've known you to be a person of strong principles. Still, I'm pleased to see that you don't take your responsibilities lightly.
I have a duty to do right by the world.
We all do. But so few of us are in the position to do so much. I hope you'll remember this in the days to come.
I got time.
Watcher, tell me what's on your mind. Sure thing, Watcher.
Easily done.
I can't talk to her? What? That was weird. But okay. Oh, is this my quarters anyways? Oh, no. Not my... Maybe it is? Oh, God. I don't know. I don't know. I think we'll be okay. Okay, chat. Definitely one of those situations where I'm like, I'm a little lost. Suppose I just keep traveling down. This is 4 levels higher than I need. That's our main task right there. That's our main task. So we need to keep going southwest. Oh, we need to get a spyglass. Is there a spyglass here? Okay, they're home. An honored guest. Oh, that'll be for... Oh, that's... Oh, that's a, That's, I think that's a DLC. But he's wanting us to recommended. Yep. Everything. Just as I could seek my vengeance for Deadlight, and that we have a mutual interest in seeing Ben with Fall.
Fresh fish!
Do you have like a spyglass?
We have supplies here. Have a look.
Battle Worn Grimoire. Huh. No. Weird, but okay. Known locations. Quick save and set course. Let's see how this goes out. Sift through. 4 hours pass. Continue. Pry bar. Oh. Oh God. What? Oh dear. Through the distant haze of sea mist and rocky shadows for Deadlight. 1 second, chat. rises over the horizon. Approaching a pirate stronghold is a risky venture even for the most skilled mariners. Any ship not flying a Principe flag that's sighted in deadlight shallows may be raided. Abaddon's iron scout scrap and guns be even bigger than I remember. Seraph looks up at the fortress from the deck and inhales through his teeth. Sail away. -5 per day. What?
The ring of a bell comes to you on a cold wind. The ring comes again and again, until soon the air is full with the sound of 1,000 bells ringing all at once. You are alone. And then, you are not.
Hi everyone.
An indistinct figure stands before you, flickering between forms like a fire-cast shadow. A fixed, taunting grin. Bottomless black eyes. A yawning chasm in the earth. The aspects of Bareth, the Usher and the Pallid Knight, shift in and out of focus. And at their back, 4 indistinct shades hover. You feel an eternity stretch out behind each of them, reaching back to places so distant and yet so near you cannot comprehend their size. The shifting image of Bareth settles on the aspect of the Pallid Knight.
Watcher.
Her voice is the discordant clangor of gongs struck out of time.
I tasked you to discover Aethys's intentions. Tell me what you have learned.
He's stomping around the Deadfire, yanking up souls like a giant soul magnet.
The Pallid Knight knits her brows.
He does not seek to return to the beyond? Intriguing.
Her sickly pale skin pulls tight across the bones of her face, as if the shell of this aspect does not quite fit the impossible creature it contains. The figure nearest Bareth dissolves and reforms in the image of a thin-lipped, ancient crone whose face has felt the melting kiss of fire. The goddess Wodica strides forward.
Does Aethys frighten you, Bareth? He should. Magran subdued Aethys's influence once before, and yet he returned.
From out of Wodica's shadow shuffles a hunched, bald man you recognize as the god Scan. His skin is mapped with swollen lash scars, and breath whistles through the ragged hole in his face where his nose once was. He does not speak, but stares up at Wodica with naked loathing plain on his ruined face. Wodica steeples her long, knob-jointed fingers.
We must annihilate Aethys now, before he makes a rash decision we cannot easily annul.
She casts a sly look at the Pallid Knight from the corners of her eyes.
Yeah, like annihilating him before really helped.
A moon would do the job nicely.
Given her relationship with the moon, I doubt Andra would approve of that plan.
Wodica throws her head back and laughs. The sound is a dry, rasping bark.
Andra could do with a new act. Her current one has grown rather stale.
Where are the other gods?
They see to their own affairs. You will speak to them in time, should you have the need.
The figure beside the aspect of Bareth flows forward in a swirling cloud of ash, The ash falls to the tiles and reveals a molten-skinned woman, leaning on a monstrous, wicked-edged broadsword. Magran's glowing lips curl in disdain.
We must find a solution to the problem of Aethys that is neither do nothing, nor destroy the world. I acted in haste during the Saints' War. You will not goad me into doing the same now. To move against him while his plans are unknown would be the height of foolishness. We must find wisdom in precaution.
What kind of I mean, I could do this, but what kind of precautions do you suggest?
Magran looks at you as one might a wayward gob of spit on one's shoe.
It is no business of yours what the gods decide.
Yeah, it is. I'm kind of your pawn here.
Another of the silent figures steps forward, and the warm, golden light of a summer's afternoon spills across your face.
Let's all take a deep, calming breath. Perhaps cooler heads will prevail.
Behind Helia's words, you hear the soft coo of doves.
Aethys has been separated from us for too long. Isn't it possible he intends only to gather enough souls to reclaim his realm in the beyond? He should be welcomed.
You look up then into avian eyes. Through them, you see clouds of starlings converge and divide.
What if he intends to betray you?
Helia puts a feathered hand to her chest.
He wouldn't. Betrayal is not in his nature.
Scan shuffles forward.
Yes. We should welcome Aethys' return to the fold. His gratitude we can leverage to cajole him into divulging his plot. Then, when he believes himself to be in our good graces, we do as Wedeka suggests, and crush him into the earth.
Scan pauses, inspecting you.
Ah, and here is the Watcher who delivered poor tormented Alice back into the clutches of her uncle, Lord Harren. Curious.
If I remember correctly. I didn't. That quest. I did not deliver Alice back into the... What? No, I did not do that.
Scan licks the ragged edge of his lipless mouth and grins, then turns to Helia.
I got rid of Heron.
I did not expect such a deliciously ruthless idea from you, Helia. I am impressed.
Helia's feathered crest stands on end.
You wretched little creature.
Attempting to end Aethys may only make things worse.
Your point is well made, little Watcher. If self-evident, Aethys has not been known to possess a vindictive nature. Indeed, he has occasionally been magnanimous to a fault. However, if we push him to the brink of reason, there is no telling what he may do. He is, as ever, unpredictable.
Then what's the point?
Something akin to fondness creeps into her voice.
Then what's the point of this exercise?
The pallid knight gestures for silence.
Aethys cannot be killed, but he may be subdued. Yet to do so will take immense power and time. Both stand in his favor.
Magran grits her black glass teeth.
That is why we must ascertain his plans before he has the chance to put them into motion.
She begins to pace. Her steps leave little trails of fire in her wake. Magran stops and balls her hands into flaming fists.
Even if we manage to destroy his current form, there is the possibility he could return, if he has not already absorbed all of his children.
Absorbed his children? I don't understand.
The pallid night casts a cold, cutting glare in Magran's direction.
Magran speaks too freely. That knowledge is beyond your ken, Watcher.
Wodica waves the gods to silence.
Aethys gathers strength. His strength is a threat to us.
Her voice takes on a sharp, almost panicked edge.
There is no sensible answer to the question of a resurgent Aethys, other than decisive, final action.
There's no cause to act now.
Your opinion is unasked for, but noted.
The pallid.
We will act when it is appropriate to do so, and not before.
The pallid knight steps away from the half-circle of assembled gods. She pulls herself up to a great height. The words she speaks next come not from her mouth, but from all around you.
Follow him, Watcher.
The black of the pallid knight's irises expand until her eyes are as dark and cold as the void between stars. She bends down and brings her ghostly face level with your own.
Your debt to me remains unpaid.
This is bullshit.
She stares at you, unblinking. Like a needle drawn to a magnet, you are pulled toward her one compulsory step at a time. You blink open your eyes and find yourself on the floor of your ship's cabin. Alone.